Hello everyone, happy Friday. Thank you for being here with me today. As you can see, once again, we're working with watercolors. I have decided that I need to get some pink Daniel Smith watercolors because I don't have any. And I bought maybe 4 or 5 different pinks that I want to try out. And since we're now in February, I decided that it would be the perfect time to try them out. As you can see, I made the backside of my paper wet and then I sprayed the front, and that is so that the paper doesn't curl up on me as I am applying water and paint. The technique that I'm using today is probably going to look very familiar to some of you. I enjoy putting down watercolors in this random way because it lends for a really great background for doodling. I love this kind of intuitive play with colors. Some of the pinks that I am using are the Quin Rose, the Quin Pink, the Quin Magenta, and then I'm also using the Opera Pink, and I have the Quin Coral in a stick form. And up until now, I felt like it looked pretty good, but as I was playing around with the colors some more and went back in to intensify them a little bit more, I felt like it needed something else. I searched high and low for my Quin Gold because that is one of my favorite yellows, and I could not find it. I was really bummed. And then I remembered that the Jean Haynes collection of the Daniel Smith watercolors has this nickel azo yellow. I know it's blurry in the footage here, but that's what I used, and it turned out to be a really beautiful addition to these pinks. I'm still bummed that I can't find that Quin Gold though, because that is one of my favorite yellows. So I either have to turn my office upside down or I have to shell out some more money and get some more. You can see now as I am working with these colors a little bit more, how that yellow is starting to blend in with the pinks and is turning into this really beautiful orange. And I'm not really an orange person, but the combination of these is just stunning. I have listed all of the colors in the description box below the video if you're curious. If you click on the link and you have a look, you will see that I only pinned the 15 ml tubes. They do come in smaller sizes. Some of them, I'm not sure if they all come in smaller sizes, and they also come in the stick form. So if you are curious, you can go have a look there. If you have been on my channel and watched my videos before, you may know that I tend to have a pretty heavy hand right off the bat with my colors, and I was trying really hard to stay soft and go in and intensify them as needed. And I think I succeeded. And I'm also keeping in mind that as the colors are drying, they tend to lighten up a little bit as well. But look at how beautiful that yellow turned into all of these shades of pink and orange and gold. It's just really, really beautiful. I'm very happy with how this turned out. As I'm letting it dry, I was contemplating what to do with it. And so I took to my iPad, and here is a footage of what I thought I could do with this page. So I took a picture and then I went into Procreate and just tried out a few things. I knew I wanted to use the Posca pens, but I wasn't quite sure how to utilize that space efficiently and so that it looks coherent and pretty. Of course, you could also just make a print of it and have something that you can practice your doodles on. I don't usually do that, but it has been a little while, so I just wanted to make the most out of it. And I like the fact that you can erase stuff and start new, and also it makes for really cool time lapse. You will see that I sort of stuck to my initial sketch, but not completely. I took some of the elements and I added different ones as I was going. I liked that I was able to play with the placement a little bit to see what works best. Of course, as I was laying down the first line, I had already messed up, but I'm not too worried about it because I know I can add more stuff to it, and later on you will see me add some background to kind of hide my oops. I take that sketch more as a guideline, and I reserve the right to change it up as I go. And that is exactly what happened here. I decided that the flowers looked better on this side. Whether that is actually true is, of course, an individual preference, but I decided that I should probably put them on the left rather than on the right. The Posca pens are a fairly new addition to my supplies, and I am still wondering if maybe I need to shake them up a little bit more because the intensity of the white was not quite there. I'm also wondering if it's the paper and it just soaks up the pen more. So I'm curious to hear what suggestions you have for me. I ended up having to go over most of those lines again 2 or 3 times, and in the end I ended up using another white pen, which I also have listed below if you're curious. I do feel like it is mostly user error on my part, so I will keep playing with them and seeing what else I can get out of them. I like that it came in a pack of 3, so I have 3 different thicknesses of the nibs to play with. And then I bought a 4th one, which kind of has the same tip size as the one that I'm using right now, but the nib looks different, and so you can get almost a little bit of a finer line with it. Doodling with just a white pen is still very new to me, so the look kind of throws me off, but I do love the softer feel of it. These Daniel Smith watercolors are very pricey, so if you don't have the budget for it, don't feel like you have to splurge on these until you're absolutely ready. It took me the better part of 2 years to start investing in more expensive watercolors, and in the beginning, as I was just trying to get used to the watercolor feel again after not having worked with watercolor for quite a while, it was perfectly fine to use the student brand watercolors that are out there. Since it's almost Valentine's Day, I decided to add some tiny hearts into this picture. And when I was done with them, they kind of reminded me of the string of heart succulents. And so it kind of goes with that floral theme that I have going on after all. I love going in after everything is done and highlight with some colored pencils. Again, you can use any kind of colored pencils and have fun with them. But what I love is that it really intensifies certain areas and brings them to the front. And also, it's just fun to switch up your art materials throughout your work. It kind of breaks it up a little bit, and if nothing else, it adds texture to it. I feel like I just elevated those leaves with just a few strokes of different shades of colored pencils, don't you think? I have more expensive Caran d'Ache pencils, but for this I am using my Stabilo, and I even have some Crayola pencils that I'm using for this. And then I decided to bring in some more of the Caran d'Ache Neocolor 2 crayons because I have them now and because I love using them. And again, it is just another layer of texture and just to mix it up a little bit for myself. In the sketch, I had these dots white, but then I decided to make them purple for a little bit more of a pop. I kind of wish I had left them white retrospectively, but it's okay. They look more like berries this way. You can see I'm using the pigment straight from the crayon, and that allows me to be a little bit more precise. There's so many ways you can use these Neocolor 2s, and I feel like I still only have scratched the surface of what they can do. If you're new to creating art, I encourage you to bring out all of your supplies. Bring out the ones that you're not so fond of, and bring out the ones that you really, really love, and just play with them. And I'm saying this out loud to remind myself as well, because I still feel like there's so much more that I can do and play with. And sometimes it's good to kind of condense it a little bit, and other times I feel like you should just go and use it all. Now I'm using more of the Neocolor to try and cover up my mistake that I made in the beginning. And that is why I am not super concerned about messing up when I do these things, because there is always a way to kind of hide it or integrate it into your design. I'm adding some more colored pencil in this area because there wasn't a lot of watercolor in that corner, and this doodle here almost disappeared, and so I decided to add a little bit more with the pencils themselves. Towards the end, I decided to add a little bit of gold shimmer to it, just to give it a little bit of a sparkle. It doesn't need much, if anything at all. I could have just left it the way it was, but I really like these gold watercolors, and I will use them wherever I get a chance. These two are a little bit on the pricier side, but what I love about them is that once dry, they don't smear at all, and they go on really, really easily. They're really soft and they stay on permanently. As I am finishing up this piece, I want to take a moment and just express my gratitude to all of you who have subscribed, to all of you who tune in to watch my videos, and to my lovely members. I appreciate you coming back every week to spend some time with me, and for all of you who just found me, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you like what you see. I hope you stick around a little bit longer, and I hope you subscribe to this channel. I feel like it's really hard for people to sit still and focus on something for a longer period of time. And that is part of the reason why our videos are not being featured as much as other content on YouTube. So if you are sitting through our videos and you are watching them until the end, it shows the algorithm that we are worth keeping around and that we are worth being featured. So you, as a viewer, play a really, really big part of how you can shape YouTube and the content that is being presented to you through the algorithm. So I thank you for that. Have a wonderful weekend, and remember to stay creative wherever you are in the world, and I will see you next week.